former President Donald Trump is being mocked over his newest, most outrageous lie about Sidney Powell. Now, Sidney Powell, also known as the Kraken lawyer,
in Venezuela,
pled guilty last week in the Georgia election crimes case in which Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis accused her, Trump, and 17 other co-defendants of conspiring to unlawfully overturn the former president's 2020 defeat. Among the penalties stipulated by the plea deal, Powell will be required to testify at any future trials related to the case. That includes the federal trial. Now, on Sunday, Trump decided to take to his platform
Truth Central
to claim that Sidney Powell was never his lawyer. Despite the fake news reports to the contrary, and without even reaching out to ask the Trump campaign, Ms. Powell was not my attorney and never was. Interesting. Of course, you know what happened immediately after that statement came out. A mountain of evidence to the contrary emerged. Like, for example, this video where Rudy Giuliani introduced Sidney Powell as a lawyer for both Trump and the Trump campaign.
This is representative of our legal team. We're representing President Trump, and we're representing the Trump campaign. When I finish, Sidney Powell and then Jenna Ellis will follow me, and we will present in brief the evidence that we've collected over the last, I guess it is 2 weeks. Also, Joseph DeGenever, Victoria Tenzing are here with me. There are a lot more lawyers working on this, but we're the senior lawyers, and Boris Epstein.
And then this.
On Friday, he had asked me to be special counsel to address the election issues.
Whoopsie. Oh, and if that's not enough, I look forward to Mayor Giuliani spearheading the legal effort to defend our right to free and fair elections. Rudy Giuliani, Joseph DeGeneva, Victoria Tenzing, Sidney Powell, and Jenna Ellis. Truly great team added to our other wonderful lawyers and representatives. Whoopsie. 11/14/2020 from Earth. Oh, I call BS on that one. No way he's on Earth on that one. This guy's on another planet. Okay, so anyway, that said, Sidney Powell was ousted eventually from being a lawyer to the campaign, and she said that she was practicing law on her own by filing lawsuits all over the country trying to overturn the results of the election, of course. She had even met with Trump on numerous occasions, including a meeting at the White House in December of 2020, during which the then president is reported to have considered making her special counsel for going after voter fraud, which is, again, in the last video that I showed you, that's what she was testifying under oath to the January 6th committee. So, interestingly enough, this is kind of why he switched up his usual denials. So his usual denials are like, oh, I don't know this person, coffee boy, barely knew him, but actually kind of a dumb person, not very smart, not very great. Well, in this case, no, he kind of put some praise on her. Going back to that post on Truth Social, he noted that Sidney Powell was one of the millions and millions of people who thought, and in ever increasing numbers, and still think correctly, no, not correctly, that the 2020 presidential election was rigged and stolen. No, I kid you not. He just can't seem to spell that word correctly. You see, rigged and stolen. Stolen. And our country is being absolutely destroyed because of it. Ms. Powell did a valiant job of representing a very unfairly treated and governmentally abused General Mike Flynn, who, by the way, pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI. But to no avail. His prosecution, despite the facts, was ruthless. He was an innocent man, much like many other innocent people who are being persecuted by this now fascist government of ours, and I was honored to give him a full pardon. By the way, you know who he means? by the many other innocent people who are being prosecuted. He means himself. Let's be honest. Funny enough, he's probably going to regret praising her, because as a condition of her plea deal, Powell, as I mentioned, is forced to testify at future trials and may end up bringing damaging evidence against Trump as his former legal advisor. Now, there's another little wrinkle that he himself has just introduced into this entire thing, which is the fact that, you know, if Sidney Powell was never his lawyer, then any interactions that they've had are not subject to attorney-client privilege. To which I say, once again, whoopsie. Are you sure you want to go in that direction? Now, I want to get to some of the reactions first, which are just fun. AKA Stardust notes, Sidney Powell just did the coffee and muffin runs. That's right, Coffee Girl. Barely knew her. There might be some pictures of them around somewhere. But, you know, he's not aware of any. Another person says, is Michael Cohen all over again? That's right, Michael Cohen, Trump ally, fixer, very, very long time, legal representation, and oh, would you look at that plea deal, and now, of course, spills the tea on Trump at pretty much every opportunity. Fun. And then, by the way, someone else says, he's never met her. She was just a campaign legal team's coffee girl. How many? So I don't know how many times specifically coffee person has been used, but I mean, it's been used a lot. And so it kind of makes you wonder how much coffee really was the Trump team drinking. There had to have been a lot, because to have that many coffee boys and girls, just saying. Come on. And then, of course, others have noted on social media that Powell, if it's true that Powell was never his lawyer, then he's cleared her way to testify against him because there is no attorney-client privilege. And another thing, it's funny because even Trump defenders, and I've been seeing this, it's like, oh, well, you know, Trump never actually paid her to, you know, do any sort of legal work or representation. Well, number one, again, that opens her, you know, up to testifying against him, and also might prove another point, that Trump does not pay his lawyers. And that's something that we've long pointed out. And so, even if that's the case, and that he said she was his lawyer, but then never actually paid her, but then, you know, she was still representing him in some capacity for legal advice. Well, first of all, he can't then go and blame her for taking that legal advice because, well, she never really was officially my lawyer. And again, there's no attorney-client privilege, so she can dish in whatever she wants. So either way you look at it, not good for Trump. This, you know, her flipping, as well as Cheesebro, you know, pleading guilty and taking a plea agreement as well. Not good. But hey, if he wants to continue now by saying, oh, you know, turns out, no, never was my lawyer, and allowing her the freedom of not having attorney-client privilege to whatever she knows, we might disagree, I guess.